Hey friends, Casey Ashmore. I'm talking about business administration right now. So a lot of folks are really big on, well, let's just say Texas is open for business. Texas is big on business. Texas is big, and we are big on business. More businesses are coming here, being started here than anywhere in the United States, and that is a blessing. George H.W. Bush and Governor Perry both called it the Texas Miracle, and it is a Texas miracle. And a lot of it has to do with lots of space, low property tax. They can attract young people to come here because there's affordable housing. There's lots of land to spread out. There's good school districts, etc., etc. So it's a blessing. But if you don't have an LLC, a lot of people are big on the LLC, and I'll do a whole video series on that again. And I have a few already, but I like to touch on that because I like to remind folks about the advantages of the LLC and LPs and what have you in the state of Texas. But if you just have a regular corporation, an INC, incorporated entity, or a CORP, corporation, a professional corporation, right? If you have a corporation like that, those require a little bit more corporate form. And in plain English, that means president, secretary, treasurer, vice president. You got to have some officers, right? They got to be listed. You have to have stock shares. You have to actually physically have them, and they have to be issued. And you have to keep corporate minutes. And in plain English, that means you got to keep records. You have a higher burden and duty to keep records than any other corporate structure in the state of Texas. And there's a reason for that, because most of the time those corporations are large, right? Those corporations are large. A lot of times they're publicly traded, or they have to make reports, or they're selling investments. There's reasons why they've got to have a bigger paper trail. The LLC is usually a smaller operation. It's a small business, and in a lot of ways you can run it just like you could, a DBA, right? If it was your own, like let's say you wanted a drywall company, it'd be KC's Drywall Company. Just run it the same way, except it's got the LLC corporate protection. Anyhow, here's the thing about corporations. You've got to adhere to the corporate form. And by that means you got to have officers, you got to have issued stock, you got to keep regular meetings, and you got to track the minutes. These are the critical things that are looked at in audits and in lawsuits, right? Did the corporation adhere to the corporate form? Was it taking care of its own business? And is that memorialized in corporate records somewhere? So I'm going to do a little bit deeper dive on that in the next video series about what goes into these corporate minutes and why it's critical to keep them. Anyway, thanks again for watching. If you have additional questions, chat at ashmorelawfirm.com, chat at ashmorelawfirm.com, or text Ashmore X2 to 47177, Ashmore X2 to 47177. Thank y'all.